Only 2 weeks into the month of October, our season has felt much longer thanks to the many chapters that have already been written in this story. Episode 5 showed us yet again that weather is the key component to catch a mature buck daylight walking at this time of the year. October 14th saw Caleb Griner lay eyes on his first mature buck of the season, and Rick Virgin capitalized on his MRI of Nip, sealing the deal while the great buck mowed down brassicas. That same evening, 296 miles to the south of Rick's Wisconsin property, team members Alyssa and Ronnie Albee are hoping to execute a similar plan.
Well guys, I'm going to keep this interview pretty short and sweet. We're back in here on the ridge plot on this permission piece, and we're after that Velvet 9 again tonight. He was daylight in here last night, so hopefully he sticks to that pattern and he'll come back in here tonight. We're gonna just buckle down and sit tight. There's another big front coming in. It's a little windy, so gonna get strapped in. I expect some deer movement here soon, so stick with us.
With the first buck on the plot, Alyssa and Ronnie watch for more movement in the trees. That same evening, 541 miles to the east, young bow hunter Jase Baker is also heading to the woods, fresh off of tagging his best buck to date only 10 days before.
It is October the 14th. We got pictures of Peyton this morning, and we contacted the homeowner. They said to come on up. So we are going to head up there. It's about a 2-hour drive. So it's about 2 o'clock now, so we're not going to get there till about 4 o'clock. But we're kind of thinking about hunting a new tree tonight, depending on where he's at. He should be within 30 yards, so we're just going to take a practice shot real quick. That should do it. So we're going to get in the truck and get moving. We just got up in the tree. Peyton was in the canal of this pond right here. So me and Dad made a quick decision to hunt in a different piece of this bowl right here. If he comes up through this bottom to go to these oaks, this tree has him headed off, basically. But his main crossing that we're pretty sure is right here. He was standing at the base of the pond right here with 2 does, and what he does is he gets up and he beds down, and he just mills around through there. We're doing a high risk, high reward sit tonight, and hopefully this works out for us. I think we're in the chips tonight. We cut some limbs at the house, so we're pretty brushed in. Hopefully tonight, with a little bit of luck, we can finish this chapter on this 6.5-year-old Indiana bruiser. So hopefully we can put this big guy on the ground tonight.
Past that limb right there.
Peyton. He's gonna go down right there. Go down right there. Oh, no, he's standing up there. He's about to fall over. My heart shot him. Blood falling everywhere. You just tell me. I just want you. Oh my God. Patience killed him. Patience. 3 years. Mason Baker?
Yeah.
I just crushed him at 15 yards.
Jace, you were lying.
I am not kidding, dude. I shot him straight in the heart at 15 yards.
Jace.
He's literally at the I seen his wide right, dude. I'm not kidding. This deer is just.
I watched him for 25 minutes.
We watched him for 25 minutes. I mean, I can't even believe what just happened.
Dude,
I mean,
it's over.
It's
I
over.
Hang it up.
I can't. I know. It's unbelievable.
I wish I could come up and help him get him.
I mean, we're gonna bring him back home.
Okay, sounds good.
All right, sounds good. Bye. 49 hunts after the beast of Indianapolis.
As the father-son duo of Joe and Jace Baker celebrate in the tree, back in Iowa, the deer are continuing to move for Alyssa.
I wasn't able to do a closing interview because one of our stud 3-year-olds ended up coming in right at last light. So lo and behold, he actually showed up. He came into the plot with another young buck and they fed around for a little bit before another deer entered the plot on the south end. That caught his attention quickly and he ended up working down towards us. I feel kind of bad because we weren't exactly on the same page and I had him on camera and I thought she'd have a good shot. She came to full draw on him and I think he was about, I'd say 17, 18 yards. At that point, he decided that he was gonna bump this other young buck and they kind of jetted across our shooting lanes and worked out for about 35 yards. For her, we talked about it multiple times, and I just don't want her shooting at anything over 30. So with this front pushing through, we're gonna go back in after him. I think he'll probably be there, and if we're lucky, he'll present another shot, and we'll be sitting behind him tomorrow.
While Alyssa and Ronnie hope for another opportunity, Jace Baker takes up the blood trail.
Oh my goodness, Dad. Wait till you see this thing. What have we just... I don't even...
That's a big one, ain't it? He's real. He's not a ghost.
So we brought him back out here this morning in the daylight to kind of get some better photos and better interview. It was an absolute magical night last night. This deer, I've hunted him 49 times in 3 years, and it all came together last night. I've been on the show ever since I was 7 years old, shooting a Hoy Ruckus on about 37 pounds. But this will make my 40th deer of my life. It's my number 33 with the bow. And 3 years ago when we got pictures of this guy in the 2020 season, he was just a really wide 4.5-year-old 8-pointer. And I named him Peyton because his rack was so wide for the wide shoulders of Peyton Manning. And that's kind of where the story began. So 2021, I had one deer on my mind, started hunting him, but couldn't get close to him for some reason. It was like every time we weren't there, he was there. And then me and Dad was in the tree on September the 23rd. Me and Dad got aggressive that night and went into the bottom where we figured out where he was living at. It was about 6 o'clock and we looked up on the ridge and we could see him bedded down there. And he was just bedded up there looking over that bottom. He could see absolutely everything, and that's what we figured out with this deer. This deer, he was a very, very slow walker, but he was always watching. He was always watching where he was going. But yesterday, we were working, and I opened up my phone, and I seen the cell camera picture of Peyton bedded up in front of the camera. So we went up there, and he stepped out at about 65 yards, and fed around for about 20 minutes. And believe it or not, the does came walking right under the tree, and he walked all the way down to 15 yards in the edge of the creek bed. I'll just tell you, I've never felt that feeling before after a saga like this. It was very, very rewarding. But I will tell you, this deer is as much my dad's as it is mine. It's honestly more his than mine. He's been with me through every 49th hunt, so that was pretty special that he was there last night, and it was just an awesome hunt. But we'll catch you on the next one. We'll see you later.
Jace Baker's memorable hunt with his dad by his side caps off one of the best days of the season so far. Target bucks seemingly were up on their feet everywhere in daylight, showing that the October lull can be beaten with the right conditions. To further reinforce this, back in Iowa, a public land giant appeared on one of Gavin Katurba's mock scrapes, though he wasn't hunting. The following day, Gavin heads to the piece of public land where the giant is roaming. Not being hasty, with the wrong wind direction to hunt the scrape, Gavin settles for an observation sit, watching the area at a distance, hoping to learn more about the deer's movement. Caleb Griner and Casey Murray are also out hunting, sporting the orange, trying to make it happen during Iowa's early muzzleloader season. Out of everyone, Mike Reed and Rye Ludwig head to the woods with the most excitement. After getting daylight photos in the morning of Kelce going back to bed on the famed peninsula, Mike decides to head to the pinch stand, hoping to cut the buck off on his way to nearby destination ag fields. Having not sat there since he ended the story on DAC the year before, anticipation is high for the stars aligning.
Hey guys, it is October 15th afternoon. Ryan and I are back down on the River Bottom Farm. I didn't make it out all week due to work and just a bunch of stuff going on, so this is my first sit since last Sunday. We're actually set up in the pinch. We have a southwest wind. The wind switched from northwest to southwest. My primary target is Kelce. He's been coming through here. He actually came through this morning. We just got pictures from this morning a little while ago. I was coming here anyway, but it was good to see him coming through here. He's been so active on the whole property that you never quite know where he is, but his pattern has been that if he, comes in kind of late morning to bed, it was 7:30, he probably is bedded in the peninsula here, so hopefully he works his way back out this direction and we can see him tonight. Excited to be back in this stand. It's one of my most favorite stands on the farm, so we're gonna get settled in and see how the hunt goes.
By the end of the evening, the strong winds finally blow through and everyone has solid hunts. The following morning, October 16th finds Mike back in the same stand.
Well, good morning. It is Sunday, October 16th. It's about 7 o'clock. We've got a really quiet morning. It's nice, it's about 39 degrees. There's no wind right now, but it's gonna be out of the northwest as it picks up here. We're back in the pinch. The deer are really hitting on the acorns right here, and they worked their way back to the bedding through this spot. Kelce was here yesterday morning at around 7:30, working his way back to bed, so we'll see if he does the same thing again. As I mentioned, he's very active. I get pictures of him all over the place, and it seems like some mornings he beds half a mile away from here, and other mornings he's right back in the peninsula, so we'll see. Happy to be in a tree. It's about 10:45. We're gonna wrap up the morning. Activity was really steady up to about 9:15, and then all those deer worked off into the bedding area, and we haven't seen anything since. So we're gonna head in, get some lunch, get a little work done, and then I've decided that we're gonna come back here after seeing 20 does last night and having, I don't know, I think 8 or so come in bow range. If they do that again, we should be able to get, I'm hoping, somewhere between 3 or 4 down. They really seem to be keying in on these acorns right here. And I don't think we've stunk it up too bad, so that also will put us in a position, you know, in case Kelce works his way out right before dark or something like that. So we'll see you guys this afternoon.
I see you, Rye.
As promised, Mike heads back to the pinch, hoping to fill the next round of doe tags. That same evening, 40 miles to the northwest, Caleb and Casey are set up in the same redneck hay bale blind, overlooking the large cornfield.
Well, it's the second day of early muzzleloader season here in Iowa, and Caleb and I are sitting down at his river bottom farm. We sat here last night, didn't see a whole lot, a couple does, button buck, but nothing that we've been targeting out here. We have a few mature bucks on camera that have been showing up, and I'd be tickled to get any of them. So hopefully with any luck, we'll get a shot at one tonight.
Yeah, overall, the weather conditions are pretty much similar to the first night that we filmed the beast. We've got a northwest westerly wind, so we're just kicking it back here straight to this creek, and hopefully these deer should be moving here pretty soon.
While Caleb and Casey wait on the beast to make an appearance, 175 miles to the northwest, Alyssa and Ronnie Albee are making another move on the Velvet 9-pointer.
Well, guys, welcome back to another episode of Midwest Whitetail. It is the evening of October 16th, and me and the wife are back in here, sit number 4 for this Velvet 9-pointer that we call Velveeta. We're back in the same stand overlooking this brassica plot that he's been feeding in pretty regularly, so usually his routine is pretty similar almost every day. If he's not in here, it's almost a rarity, so we're gonna sit tight. It's pretty cool out this evening. I think it said 48 when we got here in the vehicle, so we're gonna stick it out. Hopefully by the end of the night we'll be celebrating.
I'm nervous.
I don't know, I'll have to play it back, but
I know there was a lot of blood, but I hit him. I know, but I hit him back further than I wanted, but it was just pouring out.
yeah. What do you think?
I can't believe I did it. Like, I can't believe I pulled the trigger.
Well, guys, it's been a little bit, I'd say about an hour after the shot, and when we climbed down, I mean, even in the footage you could tell that he was absolutely dumping blood. I mean, the shot was definitely back, and he ducked the string really hard, but everybody I've talked to, they pretty much told me, I mean, if you hit back there and he's bleeding like that, it's got to be an artery shot, and he's more than likely dead. So we're gonna push in there, and hopefully she can put her tag on this deer. You excited?
Yeah.
Yeah?
I'm excited.
All right, let's go do this thing.
All right.
What? He's dead.
He's dead.
Hey.
He's dead.
He didn't go very far.
No.
I was gonna make a pretty easy drag out.
Congrats. Right here.
I love you.
Yes.
Oh,
That is
so proud
so
of you.
awesome.
Look how cool that is, Zach. Oh, wow. That is so neat.
How cool is that?
My first
That
buck
is
ever.
So cool.
First buck ever. First buck with a bow. And he's in velvet.
Well, guys, we got him tagged up and drug out. Here he is. This is that velvet 9-pointer that my wife named Velveeta. I just want to, start off by saying amazing, It speaks for itself. This is very rare to even see anything like this time of year in Iowa. So we've been hunting this deer, very smart, just trying to, not mess up any pattern that he has been sticking to as of the last month or so. I was slightly concerned when the crops started to come out around here if that might alter it, but for the most part, he's stuck to coming into that food plot that me and Zach came in and put in earlier this spring. I was probably 99% certain too that he was bedding on the ridge just north of there, probably within 150 yards. I was pretty confident that he'd be in there tonight, and he was the only deer to actually show up in the plot. She's worked her tail off shooting nonstop for the last month or so straight, and multiple encounters. I think, like I said, this was the 4th sit for him, and we'd seen him 3 out of the 4 nights. Had a couple rough goes there. She came to full draw on him once at 20. That had been Friday night, so that's
It was hard watching him walk out of the plot the last couple of times. Like Ronnie said earlier, I mean, it's not the shot that I wanted to land, and that's unfortunate. But when he stepped away and started running out of the food plot with the amount of blood that I saw, I was very hopeful that he was going to go down and go down quickly. So I'm happy with how it all ended, and lessons learned, I guess, too.
I'm still speechless about the whole thing. So I just want to say, as always, thanks guys for tuning in, and thanks for watching Midwest Whitetail.
It was an absolute magical night last night. This deer, I've hunted him 49 times in 3 years. I'll just tell you, I've never felt that feeling before after a saga like this. Just an awesome story that we closed last night.
Here he is. This is that velvet 9-pointer. We've been hunting this deer, very smart, just trying to, not mess up any pattern that he has been sticking to as of the last month or so.
We're actually set up in the pinch. My primary target is Kelce. He's been coming through here. He actually came through this morning. I was coming here anyway, but it was good to see him coming through here. He's been so active on the whole property that you never quite know where he is.
What else can we say without sounding like a broken record? Some years, October seems like an afterthought, with the same song being played over and over. Play it safe, hunt the fringes, and take shots on cold fronts biding time as the pre-rut approaches. This year, the weather has been superb, generating great movement and mature buck activity. The number of notch tags and big smiles our team has experienced is evidence of this, and with the exceptional conditions slated to continue, why look ahead too far? We know it's only temporary, but right now, we don't care. Things feel perfect. Bucks are daylight walking, and though it might only be in our heads, right now we are chasing November.